The wait is finally over. Week 1 has arrived and it is just finished. So let's take a look at the recap from our 2022-2023 season sim week number 1. We start with the kickoff game. The defending Super Bowl champs from Super Bowl 6, the Los Angeles Rams, beat the Denver Broncos 45-17. An absolute blowout for the Rams. Stafford had an incredible game. Russell Wilson played okay. An interception, though, late to Jalen Ramsey, who took it to the house. Cooper Kupp with a great game. Of course, Allen Robinson in his Rams debut did really well. But Broncos, they're going to have a tough start to the season, as you'll see next week. But let me move to the Sunday slate. The Bills beat the Giants in MetLife 17-10 in a close game between these two. Josh Allen had 2 touchdowns on the day, 14 incompletions. Daniel Jones did not play too well, but he had a long touchdown to Sterling Shepard. The scary one, though, Saquon Barkley out for the season with an elbow. So that really hurts the Giants' season right there and could ruin it with the loss of Saquon. Then one of the games of the day, the Bengals come back down by 13 in the fourth quarter to beat the Bears 31-27. 17 fourth quarter points by Joe Burrow, who had an incredible game, 20 for 29, 271, 2 TDs, a late one to Jamar Chase. Justin Fields played pretty well. He had 182 yards to the air, 12 rush, 64 yards in the TD. Montgomery also had a big day for the Bears with nearly 100 yards rushing. The Ravens beat the Jaguars 24-17 in Duval after Jacksonville led for most of the game. Doug Peterson, now the head coach with the Jags. Lawrence, very inaccurate in this game, 2 picks as well. Lamar was also inaccurate, just 20 completions on 36 pass attempts. 248, though, for Jackson. Devin Duvernay had 2 touchdowns. As we move on to the Eagles, beating the Saints 34-9. Year 2 with Jameis Winston as a starter in New Orleans, and they can't pull off the upset this time. Jalen Hurts played all right. 233 yards, 2 TDs. A.J. Brown, his Eagles debut, he had a touchdown along with Devontae Smith. Winston didn't play very well. 3 interceptions for him. Michael Thomas, and then Chris Olave had a couple of deep passes, the rookie from Ohio State. The Vikings hold off a late charge by the Commanders to win 24-20, as many people saying the Vikings could win that division. Kirk Cousins, he started off very well. He was 10 for 18 in the first half, and in the second half, very inaccurate, 3 TDs. Carson Wentz, 2 interceptions. He was inaccurate in this game as well. Justin Jefferson and Terry McLaurin, both big days for both their teams. The Colts win 21-19 over the Patriots, a very close game. We expected this to be one of the closer games of the week. Matt Ryan in his Colts debut didn't do too terrible, just had the pick. Michael Pittman, a big day. Jonathan Taylor, big day on the ground and through the air. Mac Jones threw a lot and was very incomplete. 242 yards, 2 TDs, and a pick. Stevenson, Jacoby Myers had a big day for the Patriots, though, with 180 yards receiving and a touchdown. How about this? The first ever tie in the season sim during week 1. Lions and Titans tie at 21. Tannehill had a very good day. 2 rookies, Westbrook-Ikhine and Treylon Burks. Burks had a touchdown. Ikhine had 4 receptions for 60 yards. Derrick Henry, a good day on the ground. Jared Goff trying to take the Lions back to a decent season. I mean, starting off with the tie isn't bad, but it also isn't good. As we take a look at the Bucs beating the Raiders 27-14, last game of the 1 o'clock slate. A great game by the Buccaneers. Brady 209, 2 TDs, as Mike Evans had 95 yards and a touchdown. Chris Godwin also had a good game. Julio Jones, first game as a Buc, went pretty good. Carr, just up and down day. Devontae Adams wasn't as big as a factor as we thought in his debut. Hunter Renfrow, though, leading receiver for the Raiders. The 4 o'clock slate, the Browns win 29-17. The Cardinals started flipping it around, looking for a miracle, and then the Browns took it to the house. That's a stat line that is not on there. The rushing game was big. Jacoby Brissett, of course, playing for Deshaun Watson, who's out for 11 games. Njoku, 2 TDs. Murray, decent game, had a fumble, and then in the turnover. Connor, his Cardinals debut did not go as planned. Marquise Brown had a touchdown in his Cardinals debut. The 49ers win 17-15, holding off a late charge. The Panthers missed a field goal late that cost them the game. Baker Mayfield inaccurate in a pick. Christian McCaffrey barely did anything for Carolina in this game. Robbie Anderson, leading receiver for the Panthers. Trey Lance played probably the worst game out of anyone in Week 1. Just 105 yards passing for him. Elijah Mitchell, decent day, and Deebo Samuel. And then you have the Chargers, who blew out the Texans 38-7, not even close. And Justin Herbert, third full season as a starter, 22 for 29, 296, and 5 touchdowns. Best quarterback of the week. Davis Mills didn't play very well. Just 14 completions on 36 attempts. Allen and Williams each had big days for the Chargers, who nearly hit 500 yards of a total offense. Seattle, they also get a blowout win, 24-6. They beat the Jets, who were without Zach Wilson, who was out for the week with a sore shoulder. So Joe Flacco played this game, 4 interceptions for him, 5 in total for the Jets. Geno Smith, inaccurate, but nearly threw for 200 yards. DK had a good game. Rashad Penny, the rookie Garrett Wilson, 66 yards receiving on 9 targets. So definitely could be a factor when Zach Wilson comes back. America's Game of the Week, Mahomes' first start of his career is against Dallas, and he's now 2-0 against the Cowboys, 28-16. As it wasn't the 400-yard game he had in 2018, but a 210, 3 TDs, not bad at all. Clyde Edwards-Helaire, good game. Travis Kelce, Isaiah Pacheco, the rookie from Rutgers. Dak Prescott had a good game. No turnovers in this game. One of the 2 games with no turnovers. The Bengals and Bears. CeeDee Lamb, 111 yards receiving. Sunday Night Football, Dolphins 23-13. Tyreek in his first game against Mitchell Trubisky and the Steelers, and it went all the Dolphins' ways. Tua wasn't accurate, but he got the job done. Tyreek with a great game. Jalen Waddle as well. Trubisky played pretty bad. I mean, not as bad as Trey Lance, but it was bad. Najee Harris got the rushing touchdown. Deontay Johnson, leading receiver for Pittsburgh. As the AFC North is going to be a tough division this year. And we wrap up the week, Monday Night Football, second game to go to overtime. Packers 19-16, no Davante Adams, and they hold off a late charge from Atlanta. Rodgers, it was rough. Christian Watson and Romeo Doubs had a lot of drops. Allen Lazard, 2 receptions, 37 yards, and a touchdown. Mariota played decent and a lot better than a lot of people thought. And Drake London, the rookie, doing well. Cordell Patterson, good for the Falcons, who came oh so close. AFC standings, you see Chargers, Dolphins, Browns, Colts, the division leaders. Chiefs, Ravens, Bills. It's still early in the Bengals, so 8 teams from the AFC won during Week 1. A lot of teams have some work to do going into Week 2 to try and get back to 500 and try and slip from a late start at 0-2, and that's going to be a whole ordeal next week, as a bunch of teams projected to win next week that are 0-1. 7 teams in the NFC got the job done. Rams, Eagles, Bucks, Vikings, the division leaders. Seattle, Green Bay, 49ers. I mean, the bottom 2, Packers and 49ers, did not play up to expectations today, but they have Week 2 to improve. Week 1's just kind of a getting back into the football rhythm, and Week 2 is going to be where we see some season favorites. This is ASC, signing off.